What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you could take one single breath that would send a signal through your entire body? A signal so powerful it could shift every cell from breaking down to building up, from aging to regenerating, from disease to healing. I know that sounds almost impossible, but stay with me, because what you're about to discover might completely transform the way you think about your breath, your body, and the invisible force that connects them both. Imagine this for a moment. You're in your 60s, walking down a familiar street, when suddenly a car strikes you from behind. The impact is so severe that your leg shatters in nearly 14 different places. The doctors examine the damage and deliver their verdict with absolute certainty. 6 months minimum before you can walk again. They warn you about permanent complications, chronic arthritis, a lifelong limp, a future where you'll never quite move the same way again. Has this ever happened to you? Or perhaps to someone you love? That crushing moment when a medical diagnosis feels like a life sentence, when the experts tell you exactly how long your suffering will last and how limited your recovery will be. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. But here's where the story takes an extraordinary turn. What if that same person was walking again in just 6 weeks, not 6 months, 6 weeks, and not with a limp or complications, but walking properly, defying every medical prediction? This isn't fiction. This actually happened. And the technique used to achieve this remarkable recovery involved something you're doing right now without even thinking about it: your breath. Now, here's what most people don't realize about breathing. You take approximately 20,000 breaths every single day, and your body isn't just mechanically processing oxygen. Something far more profound is happening. Your body is listening to every single breath you take. Not just the physical act of air moving in and out, but the quality, the depth, the intention behind each breath. Every shallow, anxious breath sends a message. Every deep, conscious breath sends a completely different message. And these messages are being received by an intricate network of intelligence that runs through every cell, every organ, every system in your body. Think about it. When you're stressed, what happens to your breathing? It becomes shallow, rapid, confined to your chest. And what does your body do in response? It releases stress hormones, tightens your muscles, shuts down non-essential systems, and prepares for danger. Your body is literally responding to the message your breath is sending. But what if you could reverse this? What if you could send a completely different message? One so powerful that it tells your body to stop breaking down and start building up. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because this isn't about breathing exercises you do for relaxation or meditation. This is about understanding that your breath is the most direct, most powerful communication channel you have with the deepest intelligence operating within your body. And when you learn to use it correctly, in a very specific way, something remarkable begins to happen. Your body doesn't just calm down. It doesn't just relax. It shifts into a completely different mode of operation, a healing mode that most people never access because they've never learned how to breathe the one way that unlocks it. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly how this works, and more importantly, how you can start using this technique today to activate healing mechanisms your body already possesses but has forgotten how to access. The transformation begins with understanding something that will change everything you thought you knew about the hidden truth behind your body's natural healing intelligence. You see, your body already knows exactly how to heal itself. Think about the last time you cut your finger or scraped your knee. Did you have to consciously tell your white blood cells to rush to the wound? Did you have to instruct your skin to regenerate layer by layer until the cut disappeared? Of course not. Your body handled all of that automatically, with a precision that would make the most advanced computer look primitive by comparison. But here's the fascinating part that changes everything. You can actually influence and accelerate this process. Most people go through their entire lives never realizing they have this power. They accept whatever timeline a doctor gives them. They believe that healing happens on a fixed schedule that's completely out of their control. And in doing so, they've unknowingly handed over their healing agency to someone else. When an authority figure in a white coat tells you that your recovery will take 6 months, those words don't just float in the air. They sink deep into your subconscious mind like seeds being planted in fertile soil, and your body, always listening, always responding, begins to follow that external command instead of its own innate wisdom. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring these transformative concepts together. There's so much more to uncover about the hidden mechanisms behind healing, consciousness, and human potential. This is the hidden mechanism behind why some people heal faster than others with the exact same injury. It's not just genetics or luck or age. It's about who's actually in control of the healing process. External voices or your own internal intelligence. And this is where the power of deep breath creates a complete transformation in how your body operates. When you breathe deeply in a particular way, especially when combined with specific mental commands, something remarkable happens. The healing process doesn't just continue at its normal pace. It accelerates, it intensifies, it transforms. Now, I want to go even deeper into this concept because understanding this shift in mindset is absolutely critical to your healing journey. There's a specific technique that was developed to harness this power, and it's built on 4 words that create an undeniable directive to your body's intelligence. It's called DICC, direct, instruct, command, and compel. And no, that's not a random acronym. Each word carries the same essential meaning, but by repeating this intention 4 times in slightly different forms as you take one deep, intentional breath, you're creating something your body cannot ignore. Think about it this way. When you cut your finger, your body doesn't gently suggest to itself that maybe, possibly, if it's not too much trouble, it might consider healing. No. Your body immediately responds with absolute precision and certainty. It knows exactly what to do. That's the innate wisdom you possess. But we constantly interfere with this natural process without even realizing it. Every time you accept a limiting diagnosis, every time you repeat what the doctor said as if it's an unchangeable law of nature, every time you breathe shallow breaths of anxiety and fear, you're overriding the very intelligence that's been keeping you alive since before you took your first breath. The decision to reclaim that power starts with understanding that you are not a passive recipient of whatever health challenges come your way. You are the sovereign authority over your own biological system, and your breath is the direct line of communication to the control center that runs everything. This revelation alone has the power to shift your entire relationship with healing, with pain, with limitation, and with what you believe is possible for your body. The impact of this understanding goes far beyond just physical recovery. It touches every aspect of how you navigate your journey through life, how you respond to challenges, and how you see yourself in relation to the invisible forces operating behind the scenes of your own biology. Write in the comments, "I reclaim my healing power." Now, here's where most people make a crucial mistake that completely undermines their healing efforts. They think positive affirmations or vague statements while taking deep breaths will somehow create change. They stand in front of the mirror, breathe deeply, and say things like, "I'm healing," or "I'm getting better every day," and then wonder why nothing shifts. The hidden truth is that your body doesn't understand vague, wishy-washy language. Your subconscious mind needs clarity. It needs precision. It needs to form an actual mental image of what you're commanding it to do. When you say, "I'm healing," while taking a breath, your mind has no clear target. Healing what? Which system? Which organ? What does healed even look like? There's no concrete instruction being delivered to that network of intelligence running through your body. This is where the real transformation happens, when you shift from general hope to specific command. Instead of just breathing and saying, "I'm healing," you would take one deep, intentional breath and say something much more precise. "I now direct, instruct, command, and compel both my eyes to heal so I can see perfectly and clearly." Notice the difference in that sentence. You've named the exact body part. You've included powerful descriptive words that create a complete mental image, and you've stated the outcome with absolute certainty. Or let's say you're dealing with chronic pain in your lower back. You wouldn't just breathe and hope it gets better. You would take that deep breath and command, "I direct, instruct, command, and compel my lower back to heal completely, to function properly, and to feel strong right now." The specificity creates a blueprint that your subconscious can actually work with. This level of precision is what separates people who see real results from those who try this kind of technique and give up because it doesn't work. But understanding the technique is only the beginning of this journey. The real impact comes from consistent application, and this is where the brilliance of simplicity reveals itself. You need to repeat these breath commands at least 10 to 15 times throughout your day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like a lot. How am I supposed to remember to do that? And this is where the practical wisdom behind this approach becomes clear. You don't need to set alarms or create a complicated schedule. The secret is anchoring these healing breath practices to activities you already do automatically every single day. If you found value in what we discussed today, go ahead and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. When you're in the shower and the warm water is running over your body, that's a perfect moment. Take a deep breath and deliver your command. While you're making your morning coffee and waiting for the kettle to boil, use those 30 seconds. When you're getting dressed, brushing your teeth, sitting at a red light, walking from your car to your office. These are all opportunities that already exist in the natural rhythm of your life. You're not adding more tasks to an overwhelming schedule. You're weaving this practice into the fabric of your existing routine, transforming ordinary moments into powerful healing sessions. Each deep breath becomes a direct line of communication to your body's intelligence. And here's what happens behind the scenes when you practice this consistently. Your mind begins to shift from passive acceptance of limitation to active participation in your own transformation. The decision to heal is no longer something you hope happens to you. It becomes something you're consciously directing with every intentional breath you take. This fundamental shift in mindset creates ripples that extend far beyond just physical healing, touching every area of your life where you once felt powerless or at the mercy of external circumstances. Put down in the comments, "My body hears my commands." Now, there's something fascinating about timing that most people completely overlook when they try any kind of healing practice. The state of mind you're in when you deliver these breath commands makes an enormous difference in their effectiveness. And here's the revelation that might surprise you. You're already entering the most powerful state for healing multiple times every single day without even realizing it. Those moments right before you fall asleep at night, when your thoughts start becoming dreamlike and your body feels heavy and relaxed. That groggy feeling the instant you wake up in the morning, before you fully open your eyes and start thinking about your to-do list. These aren't just random states of drowsiness. Something profound is happening behind the scenes in your brain during these windows of time. Your mind enters what's called an alpha state, a scientifically measurable shift in your brainwave patterns. What's happening is that your conscious mind, with all its doubts and analytical filters and resistance, steps aside. The gateway to your subconscious opens wide, and information flows directly into that network of intelligence controlling your body's functions. This is why these moments are so powerful for your healing journey. You're not fighting against mental resistance or trying to convince yourself of something your logical mind wants to question. You're working with your brain's natural rhythms, taking advantage of windows of opportunity that already exist in the architecture of your consciousness. When you take one deep breath in this state and deliver your command, I direct, instruct, command, and compel my body to heal completely, it carries directly to the control center that actually runs your biological systems. There's no interference, no skepticism blocking the signal. And this is exactly how that miraculous recovery happened. Remember the person in their 60s with the shattered leg, 14 fractures, medical, predictions of 5 to 6 months before they could walk again. By using this breathing command technique intensively and consistently every single day, especially during those alpha state moments, they cut the expected recovery time by 75%, walking properly in just 6 weeks. Let that sink in for a moment. That's not a minor improvement or a slight acceleration. That's a complete redefinition of what's possible when you align your conscious breathing and intention with your body's innate wisdom. This outcome reveals something profound that changes everything we think we know about healing. Your body is literally run by intelligence that responds to mental input combined with intentional breathing. When you drop into that network consciously through deep breaths, when you speak directly to it with clarity and authority, you're not just hoping for better results, you're actually programming it. The transformation happens because you've finally learned to communicate in the language your body understands, at the exact moments when it's most receptive to receiving new instructions. The impact of this discovery extends far beyond just physical healing. It touches the very foundation of how you see yourself in relation to your own biology, shifting you from passenger to driver, from victim of circumstance to active architect of your own transformation. And this fundamental shift in mindset creates a ripple effect that influences every decision you make about your health, your limitations, and what you believe is truly possible for your body's future. Type in the comments, "I am reprogramming my body." Now let me show you exactly how this works in real-world situations, because understanding the theory is one thing, but applying it to your specific challenges is what creates actual transformation. Let's say you're dealing with vision problems, maybe blurry vision, difficulty focusing, or you've been told you need stronger glasses every year. The way most people approach this is to accept their prescription and assume their eyesight will only decline with age. But using this deep breath technique, you would do something completely different. You would take one deep, intentional breath and state clearly, "I direct, instruct, command, and compel both my eyes to heal perfectly and properly right now." Notice the precision in that command. You've named the exact body part, both eyes. You've included powerful descriptive words that create a complete mental image, perfectly and properly. And then you add those two crucial words at the end, right now, not someday, not eventually, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, in this present moment, you're activating the healing process. Or perhaps you're experiencing hair loss, which affects millions of people and carries real emotional weight. Instead of accepting it as inevitable or genetic destiny, you would breathe deeply and command, "I direct, instruct, command, and compel the hair on my head to grow fully, to grow thick, and to stay put for the rest of my life." Again, look at the specificity. You're addressing the exact location, the hair on my head. You're defining the outcome with multiple descriptive layers. Grow fully, grow thick, stay put. And you're setting the time frame for the rest of my life. Your subconscious now has a crystal-clear blueprint to work with, a complete set of instructions that leave no room for confusion or misinterpretation. This level of detail creates a fundamental shift in how your body responds because you've finally learned to speak its language with authority and precision. Each deep breath becomes a delivery system for these commands, carrying them directly into the network of intelligence that controls cellular regeneration, immune response, tissue repair, and every other biological function you can imagine. The impact of this practice goes far beyond just addressing symptoms. It rewires the entire relationship between your conscious mind and your body's automatic systems, transforming you from someone who passively accepts whatever happens to someone who actively directs their own biological destiny. But here's the hidden truth that separates people who see miraculous results from those who try this and give up after a few days. It's not about hope. It's about expectancy, and there's a profound difference between these two states of mind. When you hope something might work, you're actually holding doubt in your consciousness. Hope implies uncertainty, a wish that may or may not come true. But when you expect something to happen, you're operating from a place of absolute certainty. Think about it this way. When you flip a light switch, you expect the light to come on. You don't hope it works or worry that maybe this time the electricity won't flow. You simply know it will happen because that's how the system operates. This is the exact energy, the exact mindset you bring to your healing. Breath commands. The moment you notice any discomfort or limitation in your body, instead of spiraling into worry or accepting it as permanent, you instantly respond with one deep breath and your command. This becomes completely automatic over time, a new pattern that overrides all the negative programming you've absorbed from medical diagnoses, fear-based media messages, and your own accumulated limiting beliefs about what's possible for your body. The journey from doubt to expectancy is where the real transformation lives, and every intentional breath you take is a step further along that path. Write in the comments, "I expect complete healing." When you start applying this breathing technique in your own life, you'll begin to notice something remarkable happening. The relationship you have with your body fundamentally shifts. You're no longer a passive recipient of whatever health challenges come your way. You become an active participant in your own healing journey, speaking directly to the intelligence that's been keeping you alive since before you took your first breath. And that transformation, that shift in awareness, changes everything. If you've made it this far with me, I genuinely appreciate you being here. This kind of content isn't always easy to stay focused on, but you did, and that tells me something important about you. You're someone who's willing to explore deeper truths about how your mind and body work together. You're ready for a different approach, one that puts the power back in your hands. And if this conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring these transformative concepts together. There's so much more to uncover about the hidden mechanisms behind healing, consciousness, and human potential. And here's what I'd like to know. If you made it all the way to this moment, drop a comment saying, "This message was meant for me." I read every single comment, and it helps me understand what's landing with you and what content I should create more of. Also, if you found value in what we discussed today, go ahead and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. Now, there's a video right here that complements everything we just talked about. It goes deeper into the science behind why your thoughts and breath affect your physical reality. And I think you'll find it incredibly eye-opening. Click and continue with me. Over there, Because once you understand these principles, there's no going back to the old way of thinking about your body and its capabilities. I'll see you in that next video.